Oh, you're looking better. I was kind of nervous tonight, and somebody told me, imagine the people sitting there naked. Honey, you're still hot. How many people have been on a diet? Come on, applaud. Yeah. Thank you. I've been on a diet pretty much since I was 12 years old. Atkins, Weight Watchers, South Reach, Jenny Craig, you name it. I kind of like the Atkins. I can get behind that one. Give me a 24-ounce steak smothered in cheese, floating in butter. Salad, I don't want no stinking salad. I was talking to my buddy Al, he was supposed to be running the spotlight tonight, about our weaknesses when it comes to food. And he says, I have a sweet tooth. And I go, that's not my problem. I like steak and cheese and butter. My wife pipes up and she goes, oh no, you like to drink your calories. And that's true, I do like to drink. In fact, one time, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up in a laundromat. And I thought I was navigating a submarine through a sea of dirty socks and panties with a Mexican crew. So I started yelling orders out to the crew, things like, Mrs. Sanchez, set the coordinates for permanent press. Maria, the engines are stalling, get me quarters. And a drink, this place is beginning to look like another laundromat. You know I don't have a perfect body. I'm aware of that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm the guy that could put brakes on any orgy. I've never been to an orgy, but I'm thinking they'd be like, who's that guy? Who invited him and why is he drinking all of our whiskey? It'd probably be a lot like a pickup basketball game for me too. They all want me to leave my shirt on and nobody pass to me. Yeah, well, I did get a personal trainer. And he said, give me a sit-up. And I go, oh, I don't do ups. I don't do chin-ups. I don't do sit-ups. I don't do pull-ups. I do downs. Give me a shot of whiskey, I'll drink it down. Blackjack, I'll double down. Music, I will boogie down. Bacon cheeseburger, I'll wolf it down. He says, once you start exercising, you'll become addicted. I don't think so. I can quit anytime I want. Cold turkey, and then I'll eat the cold turkey. Yeah, well, I did give it a go for a while. I was on this exercise device. It was, I can't remember the name of it. It was something like the elliptical Stairmaster treadmill rowing machine from hell. And I am going along, and this lady comes by and she goes, you're burning fat. And I go, well, I hope it's a controlled burn, because if this sucker goes up at once, there's going to be a mushroom cloud over this gym. Yeah. You know, some people call our bathroom the John. I call mine the gym. That way I can say, hey, I've been to the gym 3 times and it's not even lunch. Some of you know me from the dog park. I got a little dog named Skipper. If you know me, applaud. Skipper talks. And in his last life, he told me that he was a greeter at Walmart. He's so friendly. He talks in a voice like this. And I was out camping with my daughter and some of my granddaughters, and Skipper was talking to me. And she goes, Grandpa, why are you talking in that high voice? I go, that's not me talking, that's Skipper. She goes, but I can see your lips moving. I said, That's because he's a ventriloquist. Skip and I were in a bar one time, and the bartender says, I said to the bartender, my dog can talk. He says, he can't. I said, if you buy me a drink, I'll have him talk. So he goes, okay. So he buys me a drink, and I slam it down. And I go, all right, Skipper, what's on top of this building? And he goes, woof, woof. The guy looks at me and he's like, that dog isn't talking, he's barking. I said, no, really, if you'll buy me one more drink, give me another chance, I'll really have him talk for you. So, he buys me a drink, I slam it down, and I said, Skipper, who's the greatest baseball player of all time? Skipper goes, Ruth, Ruth, Ruth. Guy threw us out, and as we're climbing up out of the dish, Skipper turns to me and he goes, was I wrong? Was it Joe DiMaggio? My last dog, Romeo, had a thing for gasoline. Man, I'm soaking some nuts and bolts while I'm working on my car to get the grease off of them, and all of a sudden I hear him drinking, and I go, Romeo, get away from me. And he runs off, and so I go back to twisting wrenches under the hood. Pretty soon he comes back, and I hear, Romeo, get away from that! He took off running. I tell you what, folks, he was running around and around in a circle, probably 100 miles an hour, and then he just fell over.
Did he die?
No, he ran out of gas. How many educators are in this crowd? Give me a hand if you're an educator. Thank you. I taught school for 30 years and one day. I couldn't take it anymore. I was going to kill somebody. The principal. In today's education, the parents were like, well, little Johnny wouldn't do that. Now, you heard a little Johnny joke. I'm pretty sure he would. Or, my favorite, you know, you're not doing your job. I pay your salary. Johnny's not learning. I felt like giving him a $5 bill and say, here's your money back, teach him yourself. There were some things I did learn in education about teaching. For instance, you never told the parents anything bad about the kid. You always said he was outstanding. You didn't tell him he was outstanding in the hall. Another thing I learned was, to a group of 4th grade boys, you never ever say, all right, this is in PE of course, grab your balls and run to the net. Because you'd have a whole bunch of little Michael Jacksons minus a glove going, ow! Another thing I learned is, if you can say erection without laughing, you can teach sex ed. I really got along well with the kids, though, in all honesty. It's probably because I was just a little too much like them, particularly the bad kids. One of the things they taught in sex ed was, adolescent boys have a sexual thought every 90 seconds. And I'm going, is that all? Well, that was until I hit menopause. Yeah. Now, last thing I want to talk to you about is fire. I have kind of a thing with fire. And I've had a couple of incidents, as my wife will tell you. She likes to trim our rhododendrons back home in Oregon so that they don't get leggy. And I think that she does it because she doesn't want to see them bloom for a year or two, but that's my opinion. Anyway, one day she had trimmed up the rhododendrons and she had this pile, I kid you not, it was like this. And I'm thinking it's a cool day. Gas won't vaporize, these are green, not going to burn easy. So I went and I got a 6-gallon gas tank out of my boat last summer's gas. It's kind of stale. So I take the gas, and I start sprinkling it around lightly. Romeo, you're right, that doesn't taste bad. Then I took a paper bag and I wadded it up kind of like this. I lit it. Not close enough. Still not close enough. I am picking myself off the ground, swatting the flames on my eyebrows out, and my wife sticks her head out the window and she goes, "Oh, it's just you again." I thought a jet had flown over and broke the sound barrier. The windows were rattling. I said, "Well, if you'd have looked out the window 20 seconds sooner, you'd have seen me flying and flames coming out my tail." Now, and one more incident. I learned a way to kill gophers without sitting in a lawn chair with a 12-gauge shotgun drinking beer for 3 hours. Because after 3 hours of drinking beer, I'm like, I want to shoot something now. So a friend of mine turned me on to this. They have this thing up where we come from. They use them called field torches. I don't know if anywhere else uses them. After they harvest a field, they use these propane torches to burn the stubble field off. And you get a little bit of sulfur flakes and a garden trowel, and you find a gopher hole, and you dig it down so you can see the hole, the tongue. You pour the sulfur flakes down there, then you light this thing so you get it tuned up so it sounds like a jet with afterburners. And you put it down there with the sulfur flakes, and pretty soon you'll see smoke coming out of all the other gopher holes, and you just run around and stomp them all in, and those gophers are dead. Except one time. I underestimated the gopher's tunnel system, and I maybe overdid it a little bit. So I get done, stomp the holes down, come in the house, pour myself a drink, and my wife says, "That stump and that tree are on fire." And I look out the window, and sure enough, there are flames going clear to the top of the tree. So I had to run over to the neighbors, steal their hose, and then I spent the next 3 hours sitting in a lawn chair drinking beer. And now you know why I like happy hours at Sundance so much. Thank you.